Hey everybody, welcome back to Stratego Freaks for another edition of the King of Strategus. Today's match is against newly crowned King Nephandi, who played a very solid match about just over a week ago against Nemesis, took the crown, and now Nephandi is up against former King and very strong player Marcy Regina Wu. So I'm expecting a very good game from these two young, talented players. Who knows what's going to happen? I know it'll be exciting regardless. And I'm expecting a fun match. Hopefully we get that. Bottom line is, I want to make sure that I am streaming, so give me a moment here. And I'm going to check in, and I don't see that I am. And we are. Thank golly, I got something right for once. Yeah. Bottom line is, before we start, I have a couple of announcements to make, which is pretty exciting. Number one, I recently have been in communication with the folks over at Stratego.com, and I kind of pitched the idea of the King of Strategus happening on their site. And I had a correspondence with my new friend Jord, and he liked the idea. And so that said, we've been planning and organizing, and we're going to be progressing pretty quickly here. And we're going to be doing the King of Strategus on Stratego.com as well. And I'll be covering those matches and doing educational pieces strictly related to Stratego.com. And so this is going to be kind of fun. I don't mind spreading myself a little thinner because I believe that all this content, engaging both sites, Strategus and Stratego.com, is just good for the game. And once again, my goal, and George's for that matter, is to promote this game, grow this game, build a real community, and make it a global phenomenon. I've said it before. I know it sounds grandiose, but that's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. And you guys can help me. So if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do it now. Spread the word. Try to share the game with your friends, and let's grow this together, people. I need your help. So I look forward to working with anybody that wants to work with me. And I've mentioned it before. If you want to commentate, just reach out to me on the Discord, the home of Stratego Freaks, or even in the chat here on Stratego Freaks YouTube. And I'm just very excited about the possibilities moving forward. So this should be pretty good. Okay, I see Marcy already sitting in there waiting for Nephandi. You can always count on Marcy to be prompt. We'll see if Nephandi, the king, follows suit. And she's already getting blown up. Let me take a quick look at the rankings while we're sitting here. Winner sitting atop, as usual, with an 830 ELO. Overlord playing very strong. He had a really good match today against Maelstrom. That was a very close game, and it was a back and forth. Could have went either way, but Overlord managed to find the flag in the corner there. Loser Maker, Eagle 06, still just doing it. He's a very impressive 763 ELO, 0.9. Cirkeetsis, pretty good. I watched Nemesis beat him today. It was a pretty fun match to watch. 7Cs is back in the mix, 758.2. Maelstrom in the top 10 as usual, 695. Garufo, he played a real nice match against Nemesis. He was in a little bit of trouble, but he managed to find that win today. Kamikaze, BFG, Nemesis, a lot of the usual suspects rounding out the top 20. So it's always, there's Gyron. Hey, bud, how are you? Bottom line is, let me get out of here and get back to where I was. Let's see the podium. And USA Championship coming up. We got a nice contingent of players representing the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And I'm looking forward to this. I will be competing as well. And hopefully I give a good showing and have fun doing it. So that should be really fun. Another current tournament going on is the Last Man Standing. It seems to be going on. And now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. And if you're looking at this, the remaining players, I mean, this is just we're looking at solid players here. I mean, anybody in here could win it. So who knows what's going to happen. I'll be dialed in and watching the rest of these matches, and it should be really fun to watch that take place. So, yeah, once again, I wanted to talk about working with Stratego.com. I remember when I got back into Stratego, this is about 10 years ago, when the old Stratego.com was on, and it, I just started to find the game and get back into it, and then, as we all remember, it shut down due to, I think it was Adobe Flash or one of the softwares they were using, the platform they were using. It was no longer compatible, so they had to shut it down, which I was extremely bummed about, and found Strategus, and then Stratego.com popped back up, and they are really doing cool things over there. It took me a while. At first I was so into Strategus that I didn't, there was so much going on in my life, I couldn't really examine Stratego.com, but I opened up an account there. In fact, I just opened up an account. My name on there is Mantis2, so please reach out there, friend me up. I'm currently, I think, 8-0, that 100% winning percentage. Bottom line, I feel like, the last match I played was, someone who was actually a little bit more seasoned and gave me a little bit of a run there. I was down a general at one point early and managed to come back and seal the win. I'll probably do a little educational video on that particular game and post it over to the Discords and on Stratego Freaks. We got 4 minutes before these folks come in. I think Marcy just left because she was getting hit up too much. And we'll see you there. What else is going on? It's a beautiful day here in California. The sun is shining nice, which is, we had a bad stretch of weather where we didn't see the sun for like 3 weeks. And finally, the sun is shining and it's beautiful out here. So I feel blessed. I'm going to say what's up to all my friends out there in the Stratego world. Oh, yeah, by the way, I almost forgot. I did include Marcy's channel. He's got a channel that has just a few videos. I look to see Marcy put more content on there. I'd like to see those games. And I don't believe Nephandi has a channel. If he does, I will add it in the game or after the game. That said, let's move forward. There's going to be a lot more content coming out because I will be rotating between the two sites, and I'm going to really get into Stratego.com. They've got a lot of cool features, a lot to offer, and I'm going to really explore the site over the next few weeks, and I'm going to showcase it for you. If you're new to the game, head over to Stratego.com and take a look over there. There's a lot of options, a lot of fun stuff on there, a lot of different sets and features that I'm going to showcase for you. So we'll kind of figure it out together. And once again, head over to Stratego.com if you're looking to get into the game of Stratego. And as I mentioned, there will be the King of Strategus happening there, and we're going to be launching that fairly soon. And I'm expecting a pretty good turnout over there. And the top players on Stratego.com are very solid experience. I've been around a long time. And maybe we'll talk about getting a championship between Strategus and Stratego.com. That would be kind of fun. I just kind of was thinking about that. And a little tournament or a showdown between the top two players, that could be cool. And we're just waiting patiently here. And and we'll see what's going on. I think we just have a few minutes before everybody. I want to send a shout out to my fellow YouTubers who do have content. I think Night Snake has a channel. We know that Aaron Yeager has a channel. Captain Dirtbag, a.k.a. Also known as the most handsome man in Stratego, all the way from Germany. And it looks like we got some matches going on here. It looks like Nemesis is jumping in and playing Gweeb. I've met a lot of new friends lately on the Discords, and by the way, if I forgot to mention you, I know there's a lot more channels out there. What I need to do is write them all down and have them in front of me so I don't forget anybody, because there's a lot of good content. Of course, Winner has a channel, Fairway, Pond Snail. What's up, Pond Snail? If you're listening, appreciate your stuff. Yeah, we're just, as I said, it's going to grow, and the more channels, the more content we see, the bigger this game is going to get. So keep tuning in, and let's go. And let's see here. What time is it? It is 3 o'clock, and now I am waiting. As usual, as I mentioned before, 5 minutes early is 10 minutes too late. And let's go. So hopefully they're chatting and didn't forget. I know Marcy's ready to rock and roll. And we'll see. Yeah, tomorrow I'm heading to San Francisco. I'm going to go visit my father, do some chores for the old man. Got a plumbing project for me. Yay. And then, of course, the 49ers are playing. So I'm going to be locked in. Hopefully they beat those Seahawks, one of my most hated teams. Not a big fan of the Seahawks or the Dallas Cowboys. Send a shout out in a comment. Oh, okay. There you go. Thank you, Marcy, for sending that private link. Just waiting for you patiently. Yeah, the rules state that if the king or one of the opponents doesn't fulfill their obligation in scheduled match, they get stripped of the crown. Now, I try to be a little lenient, but as more people join, we're going to have less leniency, and we're going to hold to that. If both players flake out, then the next two players on the queue will vie for the king, for the crown. So it's important that if you do sign up, and if you do want to sign up, just reach out to me on the Discords, home of the Stratego Freaks, or in the chat here, and you join up. And yeah, let's go Niners, Charlie and Smalley. That's what I'm talking about. Get some Niner fandom going on here. But reach out to me. I'll get you in the queue, and you too can possibly be a king. Who doesn't want to be a king, right? It's good to be the king. I know I'm a former king myself, and I didn't hold the crown for too long, but it did feel good to say that I did it, and hopefully I'll do it again. Yeah, we have a Hall of Kings tab in the Discord, which documents who has been a king, when they won it, and how many crown defenses they've attained. So we're kind of doing a little bit of stat keeping there to make it kind of fun. And who wouldn't want to see their name up there, right? Pretty cool. So waiting patiently, as usual. Patience is my middle name. My wife wouldn't agree, but I do. Charlie, Smalley Cats, you're the best. Always love your presence here. You know who I miss, people? Is Max. Where is Max Silverhammer? If you get a chance to reach out to Silverhammer, or you know him, and let him know that Mantis is waiting for him to return to the Stratego world, I'd love to have him do some more commentating. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. This Sunday, Nemesis and Maelstrom are doing a best of 7. The first 2 games are going to be played on Sunday. I don't know why they separated hours in between the games, but they did. So game 1 and 2 are happening this Sunday. I believe the first game is at 10 a.m. and the second one is at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 10 a.m. PST and 4 p.m. PST. And these two guys are top 10 players. Maelstrom, we all know Maelstrom. If you've been watching Stratego for a while, he's played in a ton of tournaments. I think he took 8th place in the World Championship in Switzerland last year. And I was looking through some of his podium results, and the guy's a consistent winner and a great player and a class act at that. So he's matching up with young Nemesis, who's learned a lot from him. And, I think Nemesis reached out and said, hey, man, let's do a best of 7. And Maelstrom's the kind of guy that doesn't back away from a challenge. So I look forward to covering those matches, and I bet we'll see some exciting gameplay there. I think Maelstrom has a little bit better record going into their head-to-head matchups, but, the gap is closing a little bit, and that I know Nemesis wants to test himself against the best players. His AOR, his average opponent rating, is quite high, and he enjoys playing the best guys. So that's going to be awesome. So tune in for that, guys. I'll be doing another reminder, letting everybody know on the Discord that is taking place this Sunday. I don't think they've scheduled the remaining games, but when they do, I'll release another promotion for that, and we'll dial in. So here we are at 3:05, and Nephandi and Marcy are not here. So this might just be a live stream of old Mantis talking his gums off. Now, I know that sounds pretty cool, but I'm sure we all really want to watch some Stratego here. Tick-tock. Yeah, it's probably Nephandi's pulling a king move. He wants to be fashionably late, just like a king. We'll have to institute the no kings jargon, but we're waiting patiently. Well, I'm going to give this another 5 minutes, and then we are logging off. So I do apologize if you carved out some time for this today. That's my bad. And sometimes these things happen. It's happened before. It'll probably happen again. So let me know in the comments if you have anything to offer to this live stream. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, by the way, that game tomorrow, if you follow NFL football, you'll know that the 49ers have been decimated by injuries all season, and no one really... there's Marcy. And nobody really gave them a chance. I'm usually an optimist, but I was pretty concerned about their chances, just having the amount of injuries they did have, but they somehow keep on winning. Last week's game was off the charts exciting, and they did it, and couldn't have gotten any closer than that. All right, here we go. All right, both competitors are here. The king is here. And let me do a little settings. And how do I do this? Board coordinates. I'll put that on. And no, that's not what I want. One of these days, I'm going to figure this stuff out. Nope. And that's not going to do it. We'll just leave it as is. So I usually have the king. Let me know in the comments if you know how to flip it, so I can have the king on the bottom, but I don't think it matters much. And yeah, you can never tell what is going to happen in these matches. I do know, once again, I'll reiterate the rules that there can be no draw. A draw means that both players lose, and the next two competitors in the queue will vie for the crown. So it's up to the king to force the issue and go for the win, because that's what we want to see. I remember a few games back, Kenanenkex, maybe I said it right, had a match against Akaboom, and if it wasn't for Akaboom's, I think it was a third row flag, you know, he would have lost. And Kennekenekex went for the win, and he hit pretty much every back row piece looking for that flag. And if that he could have went for the draw, but because the rules say you got to go for it, he did. And then Akaboom went on a very strong. It was like 7-8 games, holding on to that crown. So that's a very interesting rule, and I think it makes it very just exciting. So it sucks, if that's what it comes down to, but for the audience, it makes it really exciting. I'm open to any suggestions, by the way. One thing I think we're going to be doing, though, once we get through the queue rotation, we're going to just do like a random generator and mix up the order, so it's not always you're playing the same order. We just want to keep it fresh and exciting. So you might be in the queue, but as it rotates through, it might get a little mixed up in the future, and you might have to wait a few more weeks, but it doesn't really matter. All right, here we go. All right, Marcy pushing on the left side. And that's like the first time I've seen Marcy just not shoot a scout down. So maybe Marcy mixing up the game a little bit. Marcy loves to get that information early. And I don't, Nephandi and I don't think we've played, and I don't have, other than what I've seen on the King Strategus, I really don't have a lot of information. I will say that he played a very strong match against Nemesis, and Nemesis is a pretty good player. And Nephandi played a perfect match. Maybe a couple mistakes in there, but not enough to matter. He played very strong, so I expect. All right, so there's a major coming up. The A file for Marcy, and goes up the early sergeant. More scouting. Okay, lieutenant, major there. Nephandi coming down the center. So major, lieutenant, I believe, and a push here by Marcy on the E file. Bang, scouted another lieutenant. So lieutenant on F6 on B. All right, coming down. Another scout. So they're just going, pretty typical of Marcy to use early scouts, kind of clear out that 4 file. If you follow my cursor, you want that access to across the board. So that's an important tactic. If you're new to the game, you want those open lanes to transfer pieces. Pushing up onto that major and retracts that lieutenant. That's a mystery piece on A7, so could be a bluff or it could be something. Another exchange. J files are coming up. Oh, and Marcy moves out the way. And bringing back that major onto B4 now. Hits. Even on sergeants now, a captain revealed. So I looked away for a minute, but I do believe that Marcy's major is on C4. Pushing up onto that captain. Gonna chase this J-file piece. That's going to be an exchange of captains there. Okay. Now Nephandi transferring a piece over there on the A file. And that's a hit. Getting rid of that. Even in scouts now. Coming down. Trying to bully that lieutenant, I guess. Takes. Discovers the colonel. So first big piece revealed there. Marcy willing to give up the captain information to discover that. And Marcy is a very good information player and a patient player too. Really knows how to do a nice endgame. And that's two colonels revealed. So that's a colonel on G7 and now on J8. Information war in Marcy's favor at this point, with only the major being known. Pushing onto it. It's hard to say what that piece is. Yeah. Looking to get a piece, and it felt like the colonel. And then coming in. And exchanging. Okay, so very even game right now. The only material advantage really is that lieutenant for Marcy. So that other colonel still sitting on G7. And I believe Marcy's major sitting on C4. Now Nephandi has a nice little file opening here to transfer pieces. You'll see that. New players, pay attention to what you're seeing here. It's important. When you get a blockade of pieces across here, it's hard to penetrate that. You don't know. There could be so many, different pieces, especially when they're unknown. Makes it hard to break through. Both that major and the known colonel will become targets for each opponent. There's a captain. And having the gen and the marshal on the board, they can, with some bluffing, and you can kind of manipulate your opponent, and all of a sudden your piece is trapped. You have to make a 50-50, something like that. You don't know. And Marcy is good at that. All right, so now Marcy down the sergeant, up to lieutenant, and I think that's the major coming over on D or E4 now. And the colonel comes back up on G7 to protect that, and it looks like, what do we got here? Okay, that's a mystery piece on that I7. I don't know what that is. I don't think it's anything significant, though. And I'm guessing that Major is coming back across. All right, so both players being very patient now. A little shifting gears here. Okay. Now this is that wall of pieces I'm talking about. This is hard to penetrate. You don't know what is going on here. And it's going to take a while for both players to kind of decipher how to progress it. And now Marcy tucking that piece away. All right, so flags could be anywhere. Decides to hit and evens out the scout count. Now Nephandi coming down. Double barrel down the center. Yeah, the tension can only sit for so long. At some point in the game, it just gets popped. And, I'd say, two pretty fast players. Marcy is notoriously fast. Moves pieces quickly. Can calibrate and calculate quite quickly. I'm sure that has a lot to do with Marcy's chess background. Very accomplished chess player, and these skills help. Now, I've lost track of that kernel. I do apologize for that. I'm a little fried and a little distracted, so these things happen, just like when you're playing. Exchange. This game is very even. Marcy getting tricky on the left side of the board. Coming over. Trying to find, penetrate and get down in the setup. Takes that. All right, even there, gets a minor. One scout left for each player. Yeah, if you're new to the game, having a scout in the end game can win it for you. So it's always good to reserve 1, 2 scouts and keep them for the right time. All right, so there's a blockade in the center. Exchange. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have another end game here. Slight advantage to Nephandi up that extra sergeant. But it's too. I don't think the sergeant at this moment really, plays a factor. Um, if those material pieces do increase, then as the game progresses, then yeah. But as of right now, pieces are going to be coming off the board on both sides. Marcy bringing up something on the right side of the board, the J file. Tucks away that piece. Nephandi really playing a patient game, being quite defensive. Trying to make Marcy make some decisions here. This might get into a shuffle fest, but ultimately that's not going to benefit the king. Here we go. The Nemesis just came rolling out of his room. One of these days I'm going to get Nemesis to help commentate with me. His insight's very key, and always sees something that I don't. As with most of these high-ranked players, they are always very observant and notice the details that I somewhat miss. All right, so some new pieces being moved, and this blockade of Nephandi is still in place. And time advantage in about 3 minutes here in MRW's favor. It's not a factor yet. Yeah, that's one thing I've been working on, is to make faster moves. I find myself in time trouble all the time. It's not good. All right, so the brakes have been put on, and there's some little bit of shuffling going on, a little jostling, trying to figure out what we're doing now. This piece coming down the B file is getting into the mix. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possible bond-in locations for Nephandi, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for Marcy Regina Wu. And I say that because I believe that F2 piece had moved, eliminating that tripod location. Or wedge. The debate continues. Fanny with the stingy defense and discovers a nice scout there and discovers the gen. Marcy with the cat and mouse game, looking to boa constrict around the setup here, and that's a big find right now. Marshall's both unknown for both players, and Marcy's gen is still unknown. Spy location, possibly D7 for Nephandi, but it could be anywhere. Generally, the gen and the spy are kind of connected, or at least have access to. And so you know, high level players though. All right, here's another piece coming out. Bringing the bombed in locations to 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the bones of the setup are getting discovered right now. And now Nephandi's making a push over here on the left side of the board. Double barrels coming down. I believe that the one on the A file, A6, is the gen. And I completely lost track of that other kernel. Nephandi making a move. Looking to get down in the setup, penetrate, and go. We'll see. Marcy very tricky with this, with his Marshall play. Seen it before, you know. Could be anywhere. It possibly could be an unmoved piece. Same with Nephandi. As I said, I haven't played Nephandi and don't know his game very well. That's a push. That was a push. Is that the Marshall on A3? And maybe Marcy was unsure of this C4 piece. Could that be the spy? Like, that would be an amazing spy play. Coming down aggressive like that. And really making you question your decisions when something like that takes place. All right, now we got some action on the I and J file. Marcy looking to continue this attack, and that's a hit. Will a piece be discovered? That could be the spy right there. It came to back that up. Oh, here we go. And there's the Marshall grabbing that Marshall sitting back there quietly on H9, scoops up a major. But now that it's revealed, Marcy gets it right back. Utilizing the knowledge of the Marshall and the gen, getting back, and now there's a lot of pieces at risk here. Can't protect them all. Bing, bang. Now, this is the material advantage is heading back in Marcy's direction. Was looking to find that Marshall there with the major, willing to give it up, and had the gen waiting to go in the right place. Kind of sensed that it was over there, and sprung that trap. Still very close game here. Anything can happen. The 2 lieutenant advantage in Marcy's favor now, and let's see if that pays a dividend in the end game here. Every piece important right now, even in minors. I know that Marcy probably right now is kind of, trying to figure out where this flag might be. All right, this is aggressive attack right here by Marcy. Coming down. Chasing this one down, and we're going to play a little shuffle game here. back and forth. Nephandi trying to regroup and figure out, I think, trying to get rid of this C4 piece. See what that is. I believe that's the gen. I believe that B4 piece. Oh, maybe not. I could be completely off on that. Let's see. Yeah, I usually drink a pot of coffee or a cup of coffee before these matches, so I'm kind of amped up. But I've made some changes in the new year, so I'm drinking less coffee. And clearly it's obvious because I can't remember stuff. And that's a hit. So I guess I was off on that. Now they're even in sergeants. Looking to exchange. And there goes the gen. That was huge. Marcy springs the trap. The marshal there pushing it into it. I think the exchange was the right move there, but it didn't work out. That marshal was a misread there. This is going to be a challenge for Nephandi, but judging how Nephandi played in the last match, clearly a savvy player. So Nephandi's going to fight this one for sure. Still anybody's ball game, but definitely the advantage in Marcy's court here. Might be mopping up here. And there it is. And that's it. Marcy gets the crown and is king once again. What a good match. That was exciting. I think the turning point clearly was when in the center the gen was waiting and, once the marshal was discovered on Nephandi's side of the board, the trap was sprung, and that just gave all momentum to Marcy and capitalized on all those moved pieces and played a really strong match to get the crown back. So congratulations to our new king, Marcy Regina Wu. And Nephandi, you are a king and will forever be immortalized in the Hall of Kings, and we want to thank you for your participation and strong play. Great job, both competitors there. I'll have to look at the queue to see who is next for Marcy. And once that gets scheduled, I will promote it and let you guys know when that's going to take place. And we'll watch another great King of Strategus match. Anyways, guys, don't forget about Sunday. First two games of the best of 7. I look to live stream those between Nemesis and Maelstrom. Of course, the USA or North America or USA Championship on Strategus is coming up. And don't forget about tuning in to Stratego.com for the upcoming King of Strategus or King of Stratego over on Stratego.com. So I look forward to doing that and playing more games over there as well. Guys, I got to go. Go Niners. I'll see you on Strategus. I'll see you on Stratego.com, and I'll beat you there too. Bye now.